Conte talking over the last couple of weeks about building a team. Just to put it into context, since he arrived as Tottenham manager in November 2021, he's had 2 transfer windows and he's spent $245 million. Other names on that list, of course, Chelsea, United, Newcastle under new ownership and Liverpool. But nearly $250 million over the past year. So he has had money to spend at Tottenham. Welcome inside our studio this Wednesday afternoon. I'm Rebecca Lowe. Tim Howard, Danny Higginbotham on duty, and we're going to stay with Conte as he goes to Selhurst Park today trying to get a victory and keep pace for those Champions League spots. You saw the money he spent. You heard him there, and he talks almost on the daily at the moment. It's sometimes quite difficult to know exactly whether or not Antonio Conte is happy. Is he invested in this club? What is going on with Antonio Conte, Dan?
I think with Conte, you know, he's been one of the best managers in recent years, but he is a money manager. We saw it at Inter Milan, we saw it at Chelsea. The problem is, coming into Tottenham, he had to spend far more to start challenging. And I think that's a problem that he's had. We've seen there's only 3 clubs that have spent more money than Tottenham since he's been at the club. And when I look at this team, he's a manager that is a specialist manager in terms of the plays that he wants, in terms of the system that he wants. And you look at the great Inter Milan team when he won the league, you look at the great Chelsea team when they won the league. It was all about the wing-backs. And I think the problem that Chelsea have at the moment is that that Tottenham have at the moment is that I think Conte's turning around and saying to them, I need more money. But the powers that be there will be having a really hard think at the moment because they've already given him a lot of money. And because his style of play is so unique and nobody else plays it, if you give him money and then he decides to walk, the new manager's then going to want fresh money because he's going to want to rip it all up and start again. So it's a tough one. And
he may walk because his contract runs out this summer. So Daniel Levy, it feels like, Tim, is at a crossroads. Does he allow him money to spend now, only for him to walk in the summer? Then you've got to get a new manager in to start with all these players in a system that is not theirs. Or does he cut his losses, because it won't cost him that much if he fires him now, because there's only 5 months left on his deal, get a new man in? What does he do?
Well, Daniel Levy doesn't suffer fools very easily. And where you're going with that question is it doesn't seem to me that Spurs will spend a lot of money in this window. I can't see it. I just can't. When I go back, let me take you all the way back. They didn't hire Conte at first because why? He wanted too much money. Okay, things didn't work out with the managers they brought in. Let's go back to Conte. But Conte still wants the money. Okay, great. He's got the money. He built the squad. As you said, it's very, very specific to the way he plays. And the way he plays hasn't been great. And that's why I don't think Daniel Levy will go spend the money, because they have a really good squad. I think they do. Can they get Champions League? It'll be a push this season. But I don't know if he's just going to go allow Conte to spend the money knowing that he's out of contract at the end of the season. Because the way they're playing right now, it's almost as if the goals are conceding first nearly every game. That, you know, giving up 2+ goals in 7 matches this season. That's not what you want from a guy who's known to be defensive. That's not defensive at all.
I think at some point Conte has to be questioned as well. We look where they are in the league. Brentford, I think Fulham, 3 points behind them. Brentford, 4 points behind them. Haven't spent anywhere near the amount of money or got the talent that Conte has. And what I would say is that Conte's style, we know what he's all about. We know that he likes to play the counter-attacking football. You're at a club like Tottenham now. The Premier League in particular now is very much a counter-attacking league. So unless Tottenham are playing against the so-called better teams, they're not going to be able to counter-attack. So they sit back, but they can't counter because there's no space to go into. So, you know, people will talk about, oh, he needs to have more money to spend. He has to do better with the group of players that he's got.
Agree with that. And like, we all know how Daniel Levy operates. I mean, you think about it. If you didn't hire him at first, going back to my other point, you didn't hire him at first because he wanted too much money. He comes in, you give him all the money. Now, all you hear from him every couple of months when the transfer window comes up is, I need more money, I need more players, I need more money, I need more players. Daniel Levy's going to say, oh, okay, but I'm not seeing anything on the field here that at least tells me we're going in the right direction. Doesn't seem like they're going to spend money.
At some point, and you're quite correct, at some point that has to stop. At some point, that has to stop and say, right, you've spent this amount of money, probably more than any other manager has spent in such a short space of time for Tottenham. Because we know that there's been the argument for so long with Tottenham in terms of they don't go and spend money to go and challenge. They shouldn't be in the position that they're in. They should be in a better position. I honestly look at this team and I'm not convinced that it's good enough to finish in the top 4.
OK, so does he stick or twist then to try and get them to the top 4?
I think you twist because I don't think it's going to end well anyway.
So you think get rid of him?
I think you twist because there's some really good managers out there right now. You have Tuchel, you have Pochettino, who could come home again. You have probably Roberto Martinez. All of these managers are suited for the style, and these are world-class managers.
Well, and like you say, we're at the beginning of the transfer window, so then you would give that new manager some time and maybe some money to spend as well. Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. For even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you over there.